In session, correspondent Jean Casarez is in Lima, Peru. She's got her hands on the document detailing Vandersloot's complaints. Good morning, Jean. Let me begin first with what exactly does this complaint filed by Vandersloot say?
Well, Vinny, it has a lot of information, but this is just amazing, Vinny. This is a misconduct complaint that is filed by the defense, Jorn Vandersloot, against the police, but really focused in on the homicide head at the Peruvian National Police. And let's show everybody a little bit of what it does say. It says, quote, "I come to file a complaint against the homicide director in the Denicri in Lima, Colonial Miguel Angel Caña." That's the gentleman himself. And he says, and the police personnel that work in the police department. And he goes on to talk about that the police personnel in the department have violated his rights by not arresting him with a warrant, that a girlfriend of a police officer sat in as his defense attorney, and they took his computer without getting that judicial order that's necessary.
Unbelievable stuff and allegations. So now allegations going back and forth. They're alleging he's a murderer. He's alleging that his rights are being violated down there. What are the exact reasons here for this complaint, Jean?
Well, the basic reasons are that he feels that his due process rights have been violated. But it's interesting, we wouldn't do it this way in the United States, Vinny. We would move to have everything suppressed, and we would file it to the prosecution. But let's show some more what this says to everybody here. It says, "I have been detained without a judicial order. I have been detained my right to a proper defense by imposing an attorney that seems to be the girlfriend of a cop on duty who works in this police department, not allowing an attorney from the Attorney General's office or the judicial power to provide me with counsel. I have been imposed an unofficial translator whom has confused me with the intention of pressuring me to incriminate myself in this homicide investigation. And without a judicial order, they have taken my laptop and searched my communications and correspondence. My constitutional rights have been violated, as well as my right to a defense and due process." Now, Vinny, listen to this. This is what we found out late yesterday. We spoke with an attorney here, defense attorney Carla Odria was her name. She told us that she was the original defense attorney that was appointed for Jorn Vandersloot when this interrogation was about to begin. And he said to her, "I don't want to talk. I'm too tired from my trip from Chile. I don't want to talk." She told that to authorities. Well, guess what, Vinny? When you look on the confession, guess what? There's a completely different name of a defense attorney on that confession. So
Really?
that leads to tell me that what is in this from Jorn Vandersloot is the truth.
That is very interesting, Jean Casarez, and could be very good for a Vandersloot, but still has to deal with some other issues like videotapes and bloody shirts. But as far as all this goes and the confession, maybe he does have something down there. Tell us a little bit now about the habeas corpus that was filed by Vandersloot's defense attorney. Why does he feel his rights were not upheld, Jean?
Well, he goes into many of the same things here in this document, but he talks about that he doesn't know how to read very well in Spanish. Now I see an inconsistency that they made him read and sign things without the presence of an attorney. So what's right, what's true here, what's not here, or is it a little bit of both? That there had not been this official translator. And I remember when we were here, it was that first week, and remember this confession happened on Sunday the 6th, and during the midst of that week, I remember learning from the police department, our team found out that they were waiting for an official certified Dutch translator. Well, he'd already done the confession. It was done on Sunday, so could there be some truth to all of that? It's an issue. But it's just talking about that fundamental fairness in this habeas corpus document. But, Vinny, here's the thing. I was looking at the habeas corpus document this morning. They're not asking for charges to be dropped and him to walk free forever. They're asking him to walk free, to be released from Castro, and then he will face the judge. So it's sort of like to be given bail, and then you will go to the judge when it's your court-appointed hearing time.